The earliest hominin communication was quite simple and very direct. Grunts and sudden barks signaled basic safety or the presence of danger. Subtle imitations helped create shared sound patterns for finding food resources. Aggressive hoots helped two males avoid dangerous physical combat. In moments of shelter, calming murmurs maintained essential group social cohesion. Rhythmic hums used during social grooming strengthened important social bonds. A single deep grunt from the leader acted as a clear cue for coordinated group travel. Juveniles played by experimenting with new vocal sounds, expanding the early sound repertory. A distinct, very high-pitched alarm call signaled a rare predator. Following a narrow escape, soft reassurance noises were vital for easing group tension and fear. Subtle mouth clicks helped two individuals negotiate space while sharing a food source. Vocal tolerance was indicated through neutral, non-threatening grunts to a newcomer. Low, resonant murmurs coordinated essential warmth-sharing behavior on cold mornings. A mother used a unique, soft call that only her infant recognized immediately. The accidental imitation of a bird's alarm showed the cognitive seeds of mimicry. Repetitive calls for beginning movement ensured critical group unity during seasonal migrations. Duet-like grooming calls enhanced political alliances within the female group. Playful, novel whooping sounds were occasionally adopted by observant adults. The group showed emotional sensitivity, drawing nearer to an elder's weak vocalizations of distress. A soft nighttime chorus of chirps helped keep track of group members in total darkness. Moving into more complex systems, the new generation combined varied gestures with simple vocal calls for clearer intent. A foraging female signaled water with both a hand wave and a patterned grunt, an early multimodal system. Juveniles invented flexible, playful gesture sound combinations demonstrating cognitive growth. A specific, repeated hiss call was developed and shared to warn others of dangerous snakes. Finally, a rhythmic call signaled a successful fruit discovery, a pattern others learned to follow. The next stage required nuanced signals for cooperation in scavenging, dictating approach and retreat. New gestures emerged to precisely indicate direction, helping the growing group navigate much wider territories. Mothers began using longer, more melodic vocalizations to calm upset children, marking the first forms of proto-lullabies. Communication during tool use demonstrations became systematic, incorporating repeated grunt gesture pairings for clarity. Older members started passing food through ritualized exchanges, accompanied by symbolic vocal cues. Covert proto-communication arose as two males coordinated ambush positions using short, whispered utterances. When encountering strangers, complex gestures combined with vocal tones indicated peaceful intent, avoiding conflict. During mutual grooming sessions, individuals developed subtle mouth click patterns to clearly request turn-taking. Temporary camp construction required cooperative labor organized through gesture vocal combinations. Infants began babbling with increasing phonetic variety, neurologically preparing the brain for later language expansion. Sickness led the group to develop distinct, specific distress calls to rally help from caregivers. Variation in call duration began signaling emotional intensity, a clear precursor to vocal prosody. A new rattle-like vocalization emerged specifically during intricate courtship rituals, enhancing mate selection. Scouts returning from long distances used specific directional gestures paired with distinct calls to describe precise resource locations. The group effectively negotiated night watch duties by employing patterned gesture calls, strengthening organized behavior. Generations later, individuals displayed slight but significant changes in the vocal tract, enabling a much broader range of possible vowel sounds. Children now learned sounds rapidly through organized imitation games, accelerating vocal complexity. A leader utilized more elaborate, multi-stage calls to successfully organize difficult group hunts, coordinating different phases. Increased brain capacity greatly improved auditory memory, allowing recognition of dozens of crucial call variations. The group initiated proto-personal names, assigning distinct sound patterns to identify individuals. Vocal grooming began to partially replace direct physical grooming, allowing social bonding to occur efficiently in larger social groups. A unique call, delivered with a rising tone, emerged to convey questioning or uncertainty, forming primitive intonation. Tool production sites evolved into social hubs where elders guided youths with structured, consistent vocal sequences. Emotional storytelling emerged naturally through dramatic gestures and rhythmic, expressive vocalizations around the safety of the evening fires. Finally, the hyoid bone began to evolve toward a shape structurally more supportive of truly articulate sound production. Individuals now began producing differentiated consonant-like clicks during vital teaching moments. A symbolic gesture and sound were used to represent the abstract idea of danger. Group size increased significantly, demanding more efficient, louder, long-distance calls to maintain necessary cohesion. Playgroups formed early proto-syntactic patterns by pairing just two meaningful sounds together intentionally. The group developed vocal markers to clearly indicate cooperation versus competition in foraging areas. Burial rituals began including rhythmic, simple chanting, suggesting early cultural transmission of structured, organized sound. Specific tool types were now clearly associated with distinct teaching calls, forming a rudimentary proto-terminology. Gender-based variations in specific vocal pitch emerged as important, recognized social cues. Mothers intentionally taught infants multiple sound patterns, accelerating the pace of language acquisition. Generational stories solidified into tradition, passed orally with recognizable, fixed structure. The group assigned simple, specific vocal labels to common available foods, making resource discussion much more efficient. Directional markers evolved into short, repeatable proto-words that signified left, right, far, and near locations. The first consistent two-word combinations appeared, combining the sound for food plus the sound for there. Elders began to correct youngsters' vocal combinations, forming the group's first proto-grammar norms. The group marked established territories with symbolic scratches accompanied by brief vocal explanations. A heated conflict saw the use of new insults, structured vocal patterns specifically meant to demean opponents. Cooperative hunts now relied on specialized proto-verbs indicating key actions like chase, corner, and wait. A seasonal vocabulary emerged rapidly to describe the complex migration cycles and weather changes. Vocal teaching became systematic and highly structured, with specific sequences used for training skilled toolmakers. Reliance on hand gestures significantly decreased as the vocal clarity and range greatly increased. The group invented a vocal symbol for water source, used even when water was not visible, an early step in abstraction. Narrative performances became more elaborate, containing a plot, specific emotion, and clear moral meaning. Young adults quickly created new proto-words through social experimentation and novelty. Proto-numerical sounds arose for counting very small quantities, specifically 1 and 2 items. Disputes were increasingly settled through spoken negotiation, replacing physical threats. A specific proto-ritual began using repeated rhythmic utterances passed across many generations. The group encountered another tribe and used specific shared signal words to establish an immediate mutual peace. New cave symbols appeared, now accompanied by detailed vocal explanations, marking the earliest proto-writing attempts. A proto-leader began giving structured speeches featuring clear vocal beginnings and distinct endings. A dedicated emotional vocabulary formed, clearly distinguishing fear, joy, and anger through specific proto-words. Children now grew up immersed in a structured proto-language environment, rapidly acquiring organized speech. Complex, sentence-like sequences appeared, describing events using clear subject-action-object patterns. Individuals began using specific past tense vocal markers to accurately recount previous long-past hunts. Future tense sounds emerged quickly for planning upcoming complex events, like the seasonal migrations. Settlement groups developed slight dialect variations based on geographic separation and local custom. Experienced storytellers ensured that myths were passed down through consistent phrasing and formulaic, established structures. A highly structured teaching system helped new generations rapidly learn and categorize all existing vocabulary. Individuals began to debate resource allocation with articulate, structured arguments and reasoning. A new symbolic gesture accompanied a specific spoken term for shared clan identity or kinship. Children creatively invented slang-like variations that occasionally became mainstream vocabulary. Songs with rhythmic, repetitive lyrics appeared and were integrated during group ceremonies and rituals. Complex instructions for tool-making required multi-step, fully verbal explanations. Migration routes became mentally encoded and memorized through structured verbal maps representing key landmarks. Displaced members successfully reunited with the group using specific, recognizable vocal identifiers for their clan. Leaders mediated serious disputes using careful verbal diplomacy, showing high linguistic abstraction. Ritual chants began incorporating metaphorical language to describe nature and its spirits. Births were celebrated with special naming ceremonies featuring newly invented, meaningful words. Intergroup marriages encouraged the essential exchange of vocabulary and the gradual merging of two linguistic systems. The community's stable proto-language finally solidified into a fully structured early human language. Generations later, descendants tell long, articulate stories around a fire, proof that simple grunts evolved into the foundation of human speech.